Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Pete here, and I am once again here with the Purpose Department podcast, and I'm with my son, Jaden.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And we've got a special guest who is a new friend to our Ohana, but an awesome guy. We've gotten to hang out with him and his family, also gotten to really just getting involved and serving and being a part of ministry and different things as well. But I want to give a big shout out to my man, my friend, Joe Pringle. What's going on, Joe?
Great to be here. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Love the Campbell clan.
Hey, so glad to have you. And it was fun you calling and saying, I'm over here by the 24-hour fitness. Is this the right spot? Am I in the right vicinity? Man, so good to have you. So Jaden, you got a question. So Jaden's been asking all of our guests and different things like that. I'll just let you go for it, dude.
Hit me with it, bro.
I don't think you're ready for this one. All right, so you are like stuck in a time loop, right?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I feel like I've been Blade Runner.
And it's just 1 week. What, so there's a couple parts to this question, but what year would you want this week that you would be stuck in? So you'd just be stuck in this week, and what year would you want to be stuck in for that week?
The 70s.
The 70s.
I think the 70s. Yeah.
All right, so that takes the video games out of the question. What would...
Hey, we're talking...
Yeah, no.
What, Tron? You got... Oh, well, no, that was...
No,
80s.
I think that was 80s, right?
Dang.
Yeah, no, 70s.
yeah,
70s was like the pinball
60s,
machines.
70s. Yeah,
that was...
Pinball
like,
machines was the big thing in the 70s.
maybe
Yeah.
a 60s. Like, I need some Rolling Stones, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
All right, now, so you chose the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your 2 activities? You get to do these for completely free, but you have to do them over and over
Oh
and
my
over
gosh.
and over again because you're stuck in this week.
Over and over and over again.
Yes.
Okay. I go to a David Bowie concert
Okay.
over and over and over. Is it the same concert?
Well,
can he change the
it's
set
just
list?
a week loop.
Okay.
So,
it's
yeah.
a week loop. And I mean, listen, as cheesy and as stereotypical as this might sound, is it just me by myself? Because I want my family there.
Just,
He can have his family.
Yeah,
Come
no.
on.
It'd just be like anyone.
Okay.
But
I go to
yeah.
Harrods with my daughter and with my wife.
Awesome.
Because Harrods in the 70s was mayhem. Apparently.
Yeah.
So
you could buy a lion from Harrods. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I didn't know that. I'm learning something new today.
And then Charlie would just be going psycho in the
Yes.
food hall, running
Oh my
around,
Charlie
looking at
would be
everything.
going nuts.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Yeah, dude, you're always coming with something new. I'm like, all right, this is great.
It's a little psych
One week he
assessment.
went completely. I was like, he asked that first question. I feel like we're just going super deep right off the get go. And I'm like, wow, my brain wasn't ready for that. So Joe, having you here, as a part of the Purpose Department podcast, for me as a dad, having this opportunity to do a podcast with my kids, but then also with a lot of good friends and stuff that we've got, and different things there. Each time we've gotten together, we've talked about, purpose, ultimately like what drives and what kind of fuels our purpose and who we are and our identity and different things like that. And so for you and I, just a few weeks ago, we got to sit down, have some coffee together, and you even just kind of shared with me a little bit about your story and some different things, and knowing where we're at today and seeing just how everything's come to pass and how things have taken shape and kind of where you're at. I'd love for you to kind of share a little bit, for just to start kind of share a little bit of your story and some different things there. So
Bit of my story. Okay. Yeah. 100%. So I grew up in Australia. That's why I speak dingo quite fluently. I hope there's captions along the bottom of this.
we'll have a kangaroo jumping across.
Exactly.
It'd be like one of those like kids videos where it's like the dot that's hopping across
There's
the
Bluey
lyrics.
that's
Yes.
coming across. Yeah.
Oh
hey.
my gosh.
Biscuits. All right.
Yeah, Tim Tam.
Yes,
Just coming.
yes.
If you don't know what a Tim Tam is, get educated. So I grew up in Sydney. My parents are pastors, and in 1980, they started a church called C3. Christian City Church was the name of the church. Actually, there was another name, but I can't remember it right now when they first started.
That's actually so good to know, because somebody asked me that the other day and I was like, know exactly what the 3Cs.
Yeah, what is C3? C3OC, I always say it sounds like a lost member of Star Wars.
Yes, which we talked about. C3PO.
Portland.
Portland, Oregon, baby. So
C3
there it is.
Portland,
Yeah.
there it is. So I grew up, they'd started this church, and that kind of started thriving. There was a revival that was happening within it. And so I have a older brother, and then the oldest in the family is my sister. And so we grew up in the church and around like really healthy relational setting. And so my memories of growing up were like Sunday nights, and it was like Van Morrison playing, and all the leaders and different people being in our house laughing, and they were like wrestling and throwing each other in the pool. It was like a very fun memory looking back to those early days. And so that kind of grew into a church planting movement, which now there's 700 around the world. So growing up into the midst of that, there can be some just pressures on being a kid within that setting, being a pastor's kid and whatnot. I'd experienced some sexual abuse in my early years. And so these things started to kind of gather. And when I was around 12 years old, I learned the art of kind of escaping. And that was through alcohol, and then weed, and then into harder drugs at a pretty young age. And it worked. That was the thing. It was the first time I felt like I was putting on an effective mask or an effective suit to not feel so much pain. Yeah. And ever since young, I'd struggled with some depression and kind of existential questions. Most likely from obviously when people are abused at a young age, things can fracture. Shame gets put into play. So then I'm in my teenage years, and there was a period where I lost 3 friends to suicide. Oh, wow. Mainly around, heavy experimentation with drugs and looking to escape. It was just basically it. And then my granddad passed away, and he said 2 things to me. So I was obsessed with the military. Okay. And my life was a little chaotic. And so he said to me, I want you to not join the military and clean up your life. And which is kind of strange, right? Right. Yeah. Because generally I'm sending you to military boarding school to clean up your life.
No joke. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so from that point, I kind of changed. And when I came, I really gave my life back to Christ. It was, like a youth getaway camp, and really felt God speaking to me. And so learning that surrender and handing it over. And so I got very involved with our church worship, and did that for a long time, recorded and produced, 15, 16 records, and was able to tour around the world doing that. And worship is still very near and dear to my heart. Right. But then, at one point I also had a band, and so we had the opportunity to move out here to LA with a record deal, and so we did that. Okay. And at that point, I was in a bad relationship. Finished. I had a nervous breakdown. I'm an all heart kind of person. Yeah. And so when that ended, I really broke down, and I went through about 7 years of turmoil and running from God. I was just angry. And I didn't want to feel. That ended up with a very low rock bottom. The band had broken up. I went on to pursue a solo career. I did, okay in that, and that took me all around America. I lived in New York for a while. Right. and then ended up moving back to LA to get my life clean, to get clean and sober. Eventually that stuck, that took, and it stuck.
Yeah.
And I went back to church. I gave my life to Christ. And it was at that moment that what I would say my first deep revelation of faith hit me. Okay. That there is a true purpose to life. Yeah. That is almost, and I don't want to make that sound defeating, but it's almost a continual discovery of the depth of that purpose. And so then we served at our church in LA, C3 LA, which is now Cathedral under Pastors Jake and Nicole Sweetman.
Okay.
And
shout out to Cathedral.
Yeah, shout out to Cathedral. And we launched 2 campuses for that church. And then we felt the call of God to come to Orange County and plant a church here, which is C3PO. No, C3OC. Right.
He was sitting on that. I mean, I have some thoughts on that. Just kind of listening to you a little bit, and I love how you said that. You didn't. It's definitely not. It's the reality of purpose. It's the reality of kind of the journey that each and every single one of us are on. And how, like I've been telling people lately, like for me personally, like I'm in this season, these past few months of just like a crushing period, and it's ultimately when you're going through these things and your purpose is being revealed to you, but it's through a lot of hard work.
Yes.
I mean, when you were talking to me a little bit, like there were some key relationships that happened.
Yes.
That God brought your people your way.
Yes.
Like what did those relationships do? Like, how did they help? Because ultimately, and I sometimes we think, well, in our faith and when it comes to faith and a relationship with God, like, yes, God is everything, but there's something valuable about people.
Yeah, 100%. And
you can't do it on your own.
No.
Like, it's impossible to just live life and be perfect on your own. I'm not going to say that you're going to be perfect whenever you're with others, but it's just impossible to live your life alone.
100%.
You can't do it. You have to find people, and God will send people your way.
Yes, 100%. I mean, God said it from the beginning. It's not good for man to be alone. And we can feel that probably the most loneliest I've felt have been in crowded rooms.
Yeah.
Like when you live a life where you are continually a chameleon, you're continually putting a mask on to hide who you really are. Maybe it's because of insecurity. Maybe it's because of words that were spoken over you. Maybe it's because you don't feel you are good enough. And so what you do is you stick up these marks. No one ever really knows you.
Yeah.
So you end up feeling so disconnected. And that's a sad place to be when you have friends who don't really know you. You're never allowing them in. And so, and I tried to live as long as I could like that.
Yeah.
And I am a great testimony of it failing.
Well, it's funny, right? Because you almost give yourself a false sense of reality.
Yes.
Where you're thinking, oh man, this foundation is good. Everything's going like, all right, I've got it this time. I'm not going to slip up, or the cycle's not going to happen again. And then you find yourself getting super tired again, worn out, withdrawn. Yep. Overwhelmed, right? The stresses of life and coping doesn't work the way that like the things that you would do to cope and to find balance again. Just don't do it.
No. And it, like what you said, that God places people in your world. In my story, like the funniest thing is that He placed an atheist in my world. It was the only person I could connect with. On the level of like, and I'm talking like I was a bottom dweller, that the only person I could connect with, this guy had been sober from heroin about 7 years at that point.
Okay.
And when he spoke to me, despite numerous interventions beforehand, he basically had said, the same things, but it really hit me. And then at the same time, I believed him when he said, there is a better life for you. And so in that, I just followed, and he helped me. I moved into their house for 6 weeks, him and his wife, and they loved me like a deep love. And it was because they believed that there was the true version of me, and it's a good version.
That's really powerful.
And so they love me. And then within 9 months, sometimes God will move in miraculous ways in an instant, water to wine, in an instant. But I think it's also a miracle that Moses was still intrigued by things after 40 years of serving his father-in-law.
Yeah.
That when he saw a burning bush, he was still intrigued. I would think that after 40 years, he might grow a bit apathetic.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a miracle. For me, I experienced a 9-month miracle of being set free from not just addiction, but obsession, and getting connected to what I believe and know to be the greatest purpose in this world and in the world that's in wait, which is to our Creator and to our Savior. And so, in that period, my atheist friend, who was still, my brother, he's like a brother to me, and him and his family came to church, and they're like, wow, this is because he was surprised. He's like, I've sponsored so many people. I've never seen a life change like yours. Yeah. And I said, the only difference could be Jesus, the center point of all of that. And so, so those relationships are important, and to have eyes to see, and then not ability, but just the boldness to carry on with them, because they can be challenging. They challenge you, which provides challenging areas. He made me grow up really quick.
Yeah, I think we all need someone like that. Someone that's going to push you over the edge, but then hold you right before you fall in.
Yes.
It's good to not be pushy, hey, go do that. But it's good to be you should probably do this, and you should probably stop doing that. And like I said, they should push you and push you and push you until you fall over the edge, and then they catch you right before you fall over and pull you back and say, okay, let's build another section that we have to see how much closer we can get until you breach that little canyon.
Yep. 100%. Tell me at your age, you're 14?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Tell me at your age, do you possess that hunger, right, to be challenged?
Yeah. I want to be challenged in many different ways. And what I find with one problem is that schools, how they're supposed to be raising up a generation of just better people, they're not really challenging us. They're just giving us a book, and then they're just giving us a couple of sheets of paper, and they're saying, hey, complete this, and then you get a gold star. You just get an A on a piece of paper that is not going to be significant 30 years from now.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it just needs, so I need to be challenged. That's how I grow, and that's how I find my purpose.
And there's awesome challenge in what you just said as well, because as generations go on, there's more entitlement.
Yes.
Honestly, me as a millennial, I have to claim it, but me as a millennial, I'm living in a boomer world. Boomers built this place, and I appreciate their mindset, which was just let's go. And
they were tenacious, man.
Yeah.
They had this audacious spirit.
Yep.
Who's going to tell me?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Pioneering.
They were going to make it happen. And no, I agree with you on that one as a millennial myself. So
I mean, they kind of succeeded though.
Yeah.
The stuff that they built is still standing.
Yeah.
Even though some things may be trying to combat it, most of the things that they have built are still standing strong.
100%. And so with completing a test that might not mean anything in 30 years, the tenacity to finish what is put in front of you is the test itself.
Yeah.
So
drives you. Yeah.
Yeah, it drives you. It's kind of like if there's a job application and they're asking, have you done 4 years of college? Do you have a bachelor's degree? It's a lot of the time what they're asking is, can you finish what you start?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to learn that as a 14-year-old, oh my gosh. If I could have learned that as a 14-year-old, I feel like I would have made far less mistakes.
But I mean, it's all part of the process. It's
It
all
is.
part of just finding your own story, and then in the end, God will use that story to heal other people.
Yep, 100%. It's awesome.
And I love what you said too, Joe. The fact that you have to come almost to this T in the road, or this Y, whatever you want to. You come to a cross point in the road where it's like there has to be a boldness that ends up rising up within you.
Yep.
Because ultimately, you know, we can find ourselves getting stuck in this never-ending cycle of wandering and not finding purpose or stepping and discovering
Yes.
who it is that God has made us to be.
Yep.
You know, but there has to come where you grab onto that boldness and you say, you know what, I may not fully understand, but I'm going to trust and I'm going to step out in faith. You know, I may not really fully believe, but like what you said, there was somebody who believed in you and called things out that weren't physically at that time as though they were.
Yes.
You know, so I think the idea of stepping out into that boldness and just going for it.
Yeah. And what you said, like, there's a scripture that says, you know, man plans in his heart, but the Lord orders his steps. And there does have to be a moment. We live in an information age. It's nothing new under the sun. But what over information does is cause indecision, because there's so many options out there. So then what happens is decision paralysis.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like, am I going to make the right decision? And I think that a lot of the time it's a T. Where we might think it's like there's 50,000 different roads, but it's really just a Y or a T. There's a choice to make between this and that. And I believe that even if our foot starts to raise and come down in the right, it says the Lord orders steps, not the standing. He can't order standing, but we take a step, we make a plan, we take a step, and God begins to order it. And I think He honors boldness. When our heart is in the right place, He will order those steps in the right direction.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of funny too, because especially in our day and age right now, right, we've got Siri and Google Maps and all these different things. And so when you think of, oh, I'm going to take a step, I don't want to go in the wrong direction, it's almost like, oh, I'm going down a one-way street, I can't turn around, and all these different things. But that's not how it works with the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, there's really, I mean, He is present with us, that there are things that we can learn as we just continue to move.
Yes.
You know, I think that's the biggest part of it, is just moving, finding motion, you know, having, developing just habits of trust and processes, even mentally.
Yep.
You know, to where you're starting to make those decisions and it just kind of comes out.
Yeah,
So
100%. And then also like the tenacity to keep going.
Yeah.
I think that I know in my past I just gave up too quickly on things. It was like oh, this isn't working, but it requires like a lot more time to see if something is. So I'll move on like really quickly. But that tenacity, that patience and that perseverance to stick with it, that builds character. I think that even though things might be going wrong, I feel and know that God has sent me on this path. That's where my feet are going.
I think that's kind of like what some of older people like fail to realize whenever teens and stuff like that, or they have a hobby and then they quit it the next couple of months. It's like whenever you're young, you have to try all of these different things in order to find your purpose, in order to figure out, hey, I like to do that. It's fun. And then there are some people who just try everything and then don't find something that they like, and ultimately it's because they just need to wait.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good to try multiple different things and sometimes not finish it because you might just not want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being a teenager is like you've got this luxury of time. Whether you like school or not, school is so awesome. You grow up at the rate that has been set before you. Because
Yeah.
You know,
it's not slowing down. That's for sure. Yeah.
It doesn't slow down. And that's the time where you get to discover those passions. Like, and what do I want to be good at? I might not be good at it now, but I like music. Yeah. I like looking at the pictures of a musician or whatever it is. And then you start playing and you're like, this sucks.
Yeah.
How long do I have to practice? A lot.
Yeah. And that's, I think, you know, so I mean, Jaden, I love how you said, you know, because of your age and where you're at, yes, you get to try a lot of new stuff. I know for me as a parent, I would push back in some ways and be like, no, you're wanting to quit because it's getting hard.
Yeah.
I think there is a fine line, and Blakely's in the back over there shaking her head because we're walking through that right now. But so I think there's a trying to get that discernment or to really kind of figure out, what am I really, is it just because I'm not interested? Like, that's one thing. Or is it because it's actually requiring me a little bit more of a sacrifice or a little more commitment that maybe I just don't want to give right now?
Yeah. Focus and commitment. Yeah.
Focus, commitment. Because I think about it, and this is as a parent, so this is where I was going to get back to. As a parent, I believe that things will come around full circle. So hopefully that maybe certain things didn't take root when you were younger. So like, for instance, I tried to get you at like 7, 8 years old. Man, all right, Jay, I bought you a guitar.
Yeah.
We did all these things. I'm teaching him chords, and then, you know, it was just, you know, whatever it might be. And then now, you know, at 14, you know, you're sitting at
7 years later,
sitting at home. I'm not even home. I'm at work, and you're in the garage, and you're like, Dad, I found your guitars. I found your amps. I found this. And like, you're just going to town.
Yeah. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
You want to play at church next week? Just do it, bro.
I'm going to be in Hawaii
Just
next
let
week,
it rip.
man.
Oh, I know. That's going to be
Yes,
so good,
yes.
man. What a trip.
It's going to be so great.
But I think, so for you, like mentally and stuff, Jay, like what's going through your own processing as you're learning how to develop these mindsets, these skills, these processing, all this different stuff?
Yeah. I think that it was just like, at first I did it because it was like needed. I was like, you know what, I just need to learn this. And like, at first, whenever I went in a garage and I'm like, I'm bored today. I'm like, I don't want to sit inside doing this, and I don't want to go outside because it's too hot. And I like looked up and I'm like, let's just bring down one of the guitars. So then I brought it down and I was like, this is not going to be fun, but I'll just do it to get it out of the way. So like, to say like, hey, I know how to play guitar, like brag about it. And then I started doing it. I'm like, you know what? I enjoy this. This is fun. And that's after like a week and a half of playing it. And I'm like, I'm still not very good, but I think that it's because I found joy in playing it. That's why I continued. I think that sometimes what parents do is they like force something onto their kids. They're like, hey, we want you to be great at doing this. We want you to be great at doing this. But sometimes it just takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Just takes time to like develop in someone's mind. Just takes different things to kind of spark that fire.
Yeah.
And just light it and then let it go off.
Nice. I think you said the finding joy in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Joe, but like when I was going through my own personal things, I lost joy.
Mm-hmm.
The joy that I could find in things.
Yeah.
You know, maybe someone who's listening or watching at this moment, you know, maybe they say, hey, like, I'm at that point where I really don't find a lot of joy in things.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time connecting those emotions and all those different things. Like, what would you say to encourage somebody? I mean, even when you were at your deepest ends, like,
yeah, I would define the source of joy.
Yeah.
I just think that if you're trying to find ultimate joy in things fail.
Mm-hmm.
Things wither, things fade. And listen, I'll tell you, like, as a musician, I love music.
Mm-hmm.
I have written songs and you know, without sounding, you know, you kind of have to like the music you do.
Yeah.
But
kind of.
Not too much.
Yeah, no.
That Australian blood is very deep in me still. But I was made in America. I am an American.
In America.
America,
Yes.
baby.
Oh,
All
Braby.
day.
Braby.
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 There we go.
Brady? Yeah, but to me, it's like, what is the source of joy? So in the Bible, it says, with joy, you will draw upon the wells of your salvation. So to me, joy is a bucket to find the depths of fulfillment, of purpose. And purpose ain't always pretty. Mm-hmm. Purpose doesn't always feel, good
at first.
Good at first, or even good in the process, because any purpose involves administration. It involves like any work. I always hear a lot of like, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's not true.
But it's just not true. I like you guys and running media. There's the high point, but then there's like the base of the mountain below it that it's not always pretty.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of like breaking your new shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the first 6 times you wear them, you're going to get blisters on your feet because they're rubbing up against the back of your heel. And I think that's kind of what finding your purpose is. To go back to that, it's like you have to break in your new shoes before you can start enjoying how comfortable they are.
Yep.
And before you can start enjoying the like how fast you feel just running in them, or like you just have to break in your purpose. And then sometimes those shoes will break down and those shoes will fall apart because they've been used too much. So then you need to take a break and you need to go get new shoes.
Yeah.
So I think that if we use our purpose way too much and we continue doing what we love, but we get like burnt out, then it doesn't become fun anymore, which is I think what some people do. Is they are like, wow, I really love this job. I really love what I'm doing. And then they just do it and do it and do it. And then they get burnt out. And then they don't find joy in it anymore. And then they go and find something else that doesn't bring them the same joy because they didn't realize that all they needed to do was just take a break.
Yeah. And ultimately, I just think it comes back to source. Like, what is the source of joy? Joy is not happiness. Happiness is very different. Joy is a substance that lasts. It's something that undergirds. It's filled with purpose, so that in all seasons, I still see clearly.
Yeah.
And to me, something I will continually go back to is, and I ask people to do this as well when there seems to be confusion in that, is define success. Define what success is in your life.
Yeah.
Not don't take the Webster dictionary and write down what success. No. For you, what would a successful life look like? And generally, it might come back with probably heavy materialistic outcomes. And so to me, it's like, well, okay, let's redefine it now with no materialistic things. Like what is success? What is success if you're single, being married, or you have a family? What is success in your family? The ultimate, those joys in life. What is success with God? What is success in ministry? What is success in purpose to you? Is it bigger than just my own needs are met and wants are met? And so, my encouragement for people is that just because an exhaustible fuel runs out doesn't mean the giver of that resource has run out.
Facts. Yep.
Yeah. And so,
I love that.
And get around people, just like we were talking about before. Listen, like I struggle and still battle depression these days, lot stronger with it, and I can see it coming. So I know how to combat it, and I will not relegate my life to it.
That's good.
I will not lay down to it. It's like a non-negotiable in my world, because emotions are incredible servants. They're terrible masters.
And then I think that's why too, whenever people are at this breaking point and they relegate themselves to it, if you look around, they're all alone.
Yeah.
But if you understand that you've got people around you, like I can think of times even in my life, even just over these past few years, and even just, stepping out in faith. And right now, these past few months, it's like I can think of these certain people that I'm grateful that I've had in my corner or that are walking with me. Because in my flesh, I just would want to just give up. But sometimes you would have the opportunity to have somebody to hold you up a little bit, to support you, and even speak that one word that you you couldn't even say yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and that's people might say, "Oh, Jesus, God is such a crutch in life," and I'm like, "Heck yeah, I need a crutch. I got a limp. I need someone to lean on that is dependable and always there, and he is my source of strength."
Yeah.
So if that truly is the case, and I might light the candle on a pity party for an hour, but then it's like there. I got to get out of this.
You can't stay there.
It serves no one.
Yeah,
does not serve me. It will not serve my family. It will not serve my friends.
Yeah.
And there are things that come to destroy purpose, especially when it's God given.
Yeah.
So to me, I want to destroy anything that is trying to take that away.
I love that.
And that just takes discipline.
Just full Terminator. I want to destroy anything.
100%.
Terminator. I'm thinking freaking sword, shields. Like I just saw the Gladiator 2 trailer last week.
Very excited.
Come on,
that's got to be a night out for
bring
us.
It. Oh, heck yeah. And we're going to have to eat lots of meat. So...
Steakhouse, just
Brazilian steakhouses.
Yeah.
There's so many godly things that can happen with a Brazilian steakhouse.
That's true.
There's a new Japanese steakhouse that just opened.
Any steakhouse, period.
Yeah, there you go.
Steak. That is the Lord's. That's
so
good
stuff.
Man, Joe, I love just being able to talk with you, and our family is just we've stepped out and said like, hey, God, we're hearing you calling our family to step in and to join with you guys and to partner in building C3 OC. And awesome, but I want you to just share just a smidge, because your family's awesome. Your wife's great. Your daughter, she's a mess. Like, she's a female version of my son, Makai.
Of Makai.
Like, having those two together, for those of you who know, if you haven't, oh my gosh, it's just a whirlwind.
God just thought it was funny to create two copies of each other. He's like, you're going to go there, and you're going to go there.
And we're just going to just
energize the buddies.
Yeah, awesome.
Going.
But I mean, what's the heart, or what's the purpose kind of with C3 and all these different things, kind of as you're leading, as you're pioneering, and because God's bringing people around, He's presenting opportunities. Like, all these different things are happening as you're walking it out. But like, what are you looking forward to, or what's the feel underneath all of that?
Yeah, I think that and I love being in a place where there's so many great churches in Orange County. I would never have thought, hey, let's go plant a church in Orange County. But we felt and had numerous confirmations that this is the area. And we were waiting 2 years after feeling the desire to plant a church as to where and when. And so we talked with our pastors. And then when the piece fell here, that was a surprise. And so in that motion, we've always wanted to plant a church that ignites people on fire for Christ. And it can sound like a standard kind of response, but what I have seen is a lot of maintenance Christianity, where we are in maintenance mode.
You come back every single Sunday to get your daily fix, right? Yeah, to get your weekly fix of just like, nope, I went to church.
Yep.
I've heard some people say like, not people say, but I've seen some things where it's like, yep, I go to church every single Sunday, and I go for their gatherings, I go to their prayer meetings, but it's like, are you really in touch with God, or are you just trying to, what is it? Are you just trying to like
please?
Yeah, are you just trying to please others around you?
Yeah, and that to me falls into, what you might call traditional religion. Like, I am born into a Catholic family, so I am a Catholic. And my belief is that people can be set on fire for Christ and not just live as a Christian on Sundays, but fulfill a ministry that is given to them. We've all got a gift. And I believe that the unraveling of that, yes, it can find its unwrapping in Sunday church setting. But man, there is so much more than that within each of our own worlds where that is put into application. And Isaiah 52 is just one that always comes back to me, which is awake, awake is the first call. And I think that we there's sleeping Christians, and then at that, I believe the church is a place where people can meet Christ, they get refueled with purpose, and they celebrate what God is doing in their world. And so that's our pursuit, is to see God do a massive move through a group of people who are committed to one another, loving one another, really well, really healthy. The church is people.
The church is not a building like what most people say is like, not what most people say, but people are like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go to church. It's the building.
Yep.
But then they don't think about it and be like, yeah, no, the church is the people. Like the building could get torn down and then we could go to the beach and have church there. It would still be the exact same feeling, just. Yeah, no, because the church is the people. It'd still be the same feeling.
Yeah, the church
God
is the
in
people.
that place.
And the church is that united gathering of celebration, of worship, of adoration to God. And so, we just want to see that and see people's full purpose in God discovered, not just discovered, but put to use, and
I think that's the big part of it, discovering it, but then now actually moving it into action.
Yes.
And doing something with it. Because too many times we discover really, really good things, but then we never enjoy it.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
yeah.
One of the visions that I had was in coming down here. There's the story of the talents in the Bible. Some two people invested, and then one buried the talent, and then he was rebuked by the leader who came back, the master who came back. I had a vision that there was talents buried all over Orange County that were left and they were forgotten about. They were never dug back up. And I believe that this church is going to be a shovel, and it's going to dig up the talents, the lost talents, the lost promises that people have forgotten about in this county, that they are going to be brought back to life and invested in the correct places so that they would multiply. And so, I want people to discover the real God. Yeah. He's real, he's personable, he loves us, and he's a moving God. Yeah. And so that's our vision for this church, and I believe it's going to come to pass with incredible families like your own in the midst.
Dude, I love that. Thank you so much, Joe. Awesome.
This was fun.
You liked it?
Yeah, no, this was cool.
Good stuff, man. I love being able to have my son and just rocking this out. And I'm like, dude, you got a front row seat to learning and processing and being able to talk all these different types of things out through these conversations. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's great learning process. It's great.
Thank you guys for having me. I enjoy you guys so much. And
you are
your family.
You are the real legend, man. I was keep getting your texts and stuff, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, legend?" And I'm like, "What is?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's the Australia thing." I'm gonna start end up saying it now.
Yeah, no.
And I'm gonna walk around like Will Smith, be like, "I am legend." So,
I am legend. I got told.
Oh man, that movie.
Yeah, wow. I never liked that movie because they killed his dog, dude. I was like. Anyway, but wow. Totally
Took that one home with me.
Dude, I did. And I was like, you killed his...
Yeah.
I'm such an animal
At least
softy.
it wasn't like John Wick's dog. Like,
yes.
Will Smith did not go to the point of no return.
That's based on a true story, right? John Wick?
Part of it.
Yeah.
Is it really? Oh.
No, I don't think
It's kind of scary.
I think it's because it's from the Matrix and he took the blue pill. So no, I'm kidding.
There
All
it
right.
is. Oh, there you go.
So anyway, hey guys, want to say once again, thanks for catching this, subscribing, joining in. If you want to learn more about C3OC, they can go to just c3oc.com.
Yeah, we'll link it.
We'll link it. We'll have another kangaroo jumping across.
Yeah, follow along, keep up to date. You can sign up for more information.
Yeah.
Come along to a service.
Yeah, services right now or Sundays at 10.
Yep.
Coffee time at 9:30,
It's a great
which is
time
good.
for a church service.
Yeah?
10.
Think?
Like, it gives people time to wake up, time to eat, and just time to drive there.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So once again, thank you guys for joining us, and we hope you guys have a great day. So
All right.
Peace out.